Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am with the amazing Maxine Drake. She will be a speaker at our Esthetician Summit 2023 right here in Plano, Texas. And Maxine and I have a very interesting relationship. We'll probably expand on that when we're both on stage together and talk a little bit more about that. But I started supporting her event before I even met her. So we have a very interesting and loving relationship, but I know you guys aren't here to hear all of that. She is an amazing aesthetic business coach, and we're going to deep dive into that because I do find that a lot of estheticians don't understand how they need one and what the vantage point of us having one and why it's not when you're great and busy. It's the lead up and the ramp up that you actually need one. So, Maxine, you can take it away. I don't think anyone really knows that you're a massage and esthetician. I don't think folks know that.
Yeah, I started off as a massage therapist doing mobile spa. I say that because it wasn't really coined that term back then. We just got out our Rand McNally book and
The Thomas Guide?
I had the Rand McNally and I had, and printed it all out. And
oh my gosh.
No, I mean, but that's what we did in the 80s. Come on. It's like I said to my niece, at dinner, I'm like, do you get annoyed when like older people are like, oh, well, back in the day we did this,
right?
It's kind of like, but there is truth to that. But the thing is we didn't really think it was like work. We're looking back now. We're like, wow, look what we did with limited resources and we made it work. You got lost, you pulled over, you found a phone booth, you called, and you're like, I'm lost, and that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I carried my massage table around LA and in and out of the valley, and I lived at Sunset and La Brea, and yep, had to wiggle that thing. I'd probably kill myself now getting that thing in the back seat because I didn't have a hatch and I had a small car and all of that. But yeah, that's how I started. And then I got into aesthetics in 2000.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
I did.
Look at you. So talk to us. I got to go to my questions now.
Okay, you go to your questions. Let's go.
Why do estheticians?
I do want to say people do want to know the personal stuff.
They do.
So we can save that for, our summit.
We can save that for our summit. Maxine is so cute. Her summit is in March that I'm going to. And then she's coming to Dallas, to Texas to come and be in my summit. So we always joke with each other like our summits. So we're doing our summits, which is so fun. It's absolutely fun. Yes. Okay.
What do we got?
Yes. Okay. Why do estheticians need an aesthetic business coach? Why do they need one?
Wow. That is a really loaded question, but it's really simple. It's a simple answer. Okay. I think that, if we read the book like the E-Myth and we have an understanding of what it's like to be in the business, like we work for someone or we're in it and then we're like, oh, I want to have my own, and which is great. I love working with ambitious people. I love working with big dreamers and people that take action, except when we get into the business part of it, all of a sudden we forget. Like I was working with an owner who was a very successful manager for someone else, and then she opened her own. She goes, what happened to me? Oh no. I should know this, except now that I'm in it, now it's mine and I need direction. I need structure. I need accountability. I need help with the focus. I need to know what to work on now and then what to work on next. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so I would say, you need a coach. Well, first of all, every industry has coaches.
Yes.
All athletes have coaches. Yes. They wouldn't even think about not having a coach. And I know that could seem different at first when you're first hearing this, but it's not really different.
No.
Every industry has coaches and mentors, from legal down to whatever. I mean, whatever. So I don't know why we have a hang up of why we need it in our industry, but we do,
I
you
think
know.
you're good about that hang up, because I think that's the problem, is that, and I'm going to step on some toes, but it'll be all right. You want a quick shortcut. We don't want to do the work. Let's go to YouTube University and just watch it. Let's go to social media and watch it instead of taking a class, instead of doing all these things. And I
Yeah.
think when you have people, and I'll give an example to myself. I've been very open. You're very open. We've always said we've never scaled without someone coaching us to that scale.
Mm-hmm.
And people they don't listen to that. They just look at once you get to where you are. But when
Mm-hmm.
I say I didn't get to these figures on my own, that didn't happen on my own. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't looking at people in groups. I didn't get that from YouTube. I didn't get that from social media. Like, I actually sat down with the coach and let her just tear me up and open my books and go through my emails and tell me to pull these apps out of my phone, and gave me a planner where I had to plan out everything. Like, it didn't happen because I woke up one day, or, you know, I just manifested it all without any guide. And I think the guiding part is what we miss. We just see the people that are doing well and we're just like, oh God, they did it on their own. Never. It doesn't happen.
Right. Or they think they did it quickly, because you hit something right there. I don't know what it is about. We're just in such a hurry to build.
Yeah.
And it takes a good, if I'm really honest, when I started out, yes, I had some traction within the first 9 months, but I had a really winning mindset. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that, Stephanie, because I was approaching cold strangers face to face, and people have a hard time doing cold stuff on social media. I'm like, that's easy
Oh, that's easy.
compared to, how I built and went up to complete strangers, which I just had to get over that fear of approaching people and inviting them up to the spa. So I would say that it took.
Wait, you can't go through that and not
Tell
elaborate.
you.
What do you mean you went up to strangers?
So, okay. So my coach, so I have a coach, says I don't tell my story enough. So this is good. So when I first started, we all start with 0 clients when we get out of school. Unless you go
Yeah.
work for someone, you're just handed a book, which hardly ever happens.
Never. Right.
Okay. So I started in a department store at a corporate, spa in a department store. And and I said to my manager, can I go down to the cosmetic counters where all the Clarins and Estee Lauder and all that were, and can I go, can I go invite people up for a free brow wax? So she approved it. But before I did that, I had to go down and make friends with all the girls at the cosmetic counters, because I didn't want them to think that I was like, I don't
Poaching.
know, like, yeah, stealing their clients and
Yes.
pull away from sale. I knew the quotas they had to make.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. And so I would watch these women, looking at stuff and just go up to them. And I do remember the fear, and I do remember um just having to get over that, because I was just on a mission to build my book of business. I had a brand new home, I had a mortgage, all those things, those reasons why that pull you to take action, right? And so I'd be like, hi, would you like to come up to the spa for a free brow wax? And they're like, oh, I didn't even know there was a spa. And I'm like, yeah, and that was part of my problem. I'm like, up the escalator we go. Around juniors is the entrance to the spa. So I would invite people into the spa. And anytime I had downtime or there was a gap in my book, I was down there inviting people up.
And so how did you take from there to when you opened your own? You kept doing that.
Yes. So that story was very easy to coach my own team to step out of their own comfort
Oh,
zone and to do things. So I had them go to like malls, and it was like a close mall. I know. I'm like, oh, you're sitting in the break room crying because you just had two,
no
cancellations.
shows. Yeah.
Right, or whatever. And so like, no, we're gonna take action. So they knew that there was no whining about, cancellation. There was like doing. Like if we want some change to happen to our schedule, to our
Mhm.
our business as we're building, we got to take action. And so they knew, and I had things printed up for them, but or they were getting on the phone. So if they were sitting in the break room, I'm like, oh, and they're like, so they'd get on the phone and start running reports and seeing who hasn't been in to see them.
Right.
So then they just got trained to just know that they're not sitting in the break room crying. But it was good because, I mean, I practiced the same thing. So I would never expect anything from my team that I didn't do previously, or didn't join them or coach them how to make these calls, because it can feel a little weird. But the thing is we're in the service industry, so we should not be afraid of people. And we just shouldn't. I mean, we should every opportunity, no matter where you are, grocery store, whatever, be prepared to make that connection, because you just never know where a future client is going to be.
I say the story all the time when I go and I'm teaching. We have beauty schools that come, and
Mhm.
I always tell them, who wants to go from beauty school and open their own business? And they raise their hands. And I said, oh, well, why would they come to you? I said, let me tell you a story. I would have my business cards on me and I would walk up and say, hi, my name is Stephanie. My skin was just like your skin. I would hand them my card. I would love to help you. And their first response would always be, oh, what's wrong with my face?
Right.
I
I've done
take my card right back, put it in my pocket. I'm so sorry for bothering you. Have a great day. Like the art of talking to people
that.
as an
Mhm.
esthetician
Yep.
is a lost science.
It is. It doesn't have to be, though. I'm not quite sure how to, well, I am sure. I mean, the only way to really move through any soft skills or emotional intelligence is to do it. We can't read,
Yeah.
we can't read about it.
Yeah.
We have to do it. Now, we grew up that way
We did.
because we had neighbors helping. Now a neighbor can't get involved because, but so we had a little bit different, communication. However, it doesn't stop us from practicing, you
And I
know.
think that's the thing, especially when I might go into my next question. I'm a good seguer.
Mhm.
So, why would you suggest an esthetician to actually work with an esthetician coach? And you like them when they're small to get them large versus coming into a large business and trying to get them to do what they were supposed to do when they were small. Because I've heard you speak about that many times where it's not a easy feat to walk into an existing business that does not have SOPs, that does not have all these parameters in place. But if you start with a smaller company and you help them grow in that way, it's a lot more rewarding for you. Why is that?
Um, it's rewarding when the esthetician owner like gets it, and they take action, and then all of a sudden there's just like this massive growth. That's what's rewarding to me. And then they come and thank me, but I'm like, oh no, it was all you were open to the guidance, and you were open to the coaching, but you actually did it. you
Wow.
know so I do, it is rewarding to see that, because but I've also learned too that not everyone is my client. And so I'd rather work with people that are coachable. And so how do you know? Well, I mean, what was the first part of your question again? I
Why
know,
you
I'm
suggest an
thinking.
esthetician to work with an aesthetic coach when they are small and you
Yeah,
grow them to being big versus you walking into a big existing
yeah,
business and
yeah.
trying to coach them for things they didn't do when they were smaller.
There's just different things that you'd have to focus on.
Mm.
So if someone came to me and they're small, and they're looking for that growth, I can save them a lot of pain and suffering in a lot of different areas, just through the things that I went through, and giving them that guidance there, where that to me just shaves off hours and hours of time and energy and frustration of like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have talked to you sooner. Now with somebody bigger, and backpedaling a little bit, there is what I call Operation Cleanup.
Mm.
But and again, that person is coachable because maybe there's some people on the team that don't need to be there anymore.
Let's talk about that.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's a big one. I mean, it's a big one.
Let's talk about that, because I think you have told me many times as well that the way you hire is the way your business will be. And that's
Yeah.
such a hard thing for people, especially even me, to hear,
Yeah.
because you have a true tried and true plan. This is how you hire. If you don't hire this way, it ain't gonna work. And I never have heard anybody say that.
Honest to God. Literally, this is true story. And I don't know if this owner is going to be listening, but okay. My niece just went on an interview yesterday,
Oh,
10-minute interview, and they hired her. I said, well, right now she's in aesthetic school. So I really wanted her to, and she's living with me. So I really wanted her to get a job in the spa environment so she can get, and I said, I'll help you. I trained all my front desk teams. So I'll make you look like a rock. I'll help you. And so she went on the interview, got there 15 minutes early, yada, yada, and in and out in 10 minutes. And the woman hired her. I said, what questions did she ask? I'm very curious. Oh, do you have customer service skills? And one other that was just, I don't know, like, how do you know in 10 minutes? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Some
do.
people might think that they know in 10 minutes, but I will tell you, I fell down as a spa owner. It was a hard lesson for me to learn that the people that I brought on the bus was a reflection of my hiring. I mean, it was so there is a process, and if we just trust that process and we're not hiring emotionally,
Wow. Would you
then
say that a lot of estheticians hire emotionally? Do you think it's more out of a desperation because they need so much help and not a tactical move? Because that's what you told me. You were like, you can't be emotional hiring. And it's not that I'm emotional, but it's more of there's so much work. There's so much work.
right. Well, if we're honest, our business is emotional to us, right?
It is. Oh, God. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's personal to us. So
Yes.
we're making it personal. We just need to take a step back and trust a hiring process. So I have a whole process. It's got
Yes, you do.
5 steps to it. But listen, I had to create that because I needed it. And you know what? When people are like, and I've coached people, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm on step 3. It's looking good. La, 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 la. Step 4. Yay, Maxine. Texting me. This is great. I love this person. Da, da, da. Uh-huh. Okay. Get to step 5. La, la, la. They text me. They're like, not a good fit. Could you not? And I'm like, okay, this is good. You know what? I'm proud of you for trusting the process and that you put your faith in the process and you didn't do it emotionally. You didn't hire emotionally.
So
And I
your
think it's
program then is
Mhm,
you take emotions completely out of it. Because I think that's the problem. I think
mhm.
we're going to go back to the beginning, why
Okay.
people need you as well. We are not taught how to hire. We're not taught how to lead. We're not taught how to own and work and run. So when it comes to hiring, we hire emotionally, but we don't, you have the platform. I've looked at it. Disclaimer. Maxine has how many master classes in your back end? You took me back there, my eyes crossed. I thought I had a lot. You have so many amazing programs for estheticians in your coaching business.
Yeah, I do. You know what, Stephanie? And that,
You
working one-on-one with somebody as a VIP client and giving them that customized approach is what they really love. But we can uncover a lot in a strategy call and a strategy meeting to really, that's some of my favorite work right there is to customize where are you right now? And these are your next steps. Because a lot of owners don't really, they're just, like a little hamster, and they're doing and they're working, and they really don't know. I mean, they know why they're working. Obviously, we have this, we have that. We want to make money. We know that the end goal is we want to make money and we want to be profitable. We just don't know how to put all of it together so we're not resentful of our business. Because that's a reality where all of a sudden we don't have boundaries in place. We don't have certain things. That's a whole nother podcast. But and then we don't have like super operating procedures that I put together, because again, we're just putting the faith and the trust in the systems to hold us accountable. We have a training tool for our team now, and we have a structure for our clients, but we have to do it first. And I think
Oh, wow.
when and I coach this, but people want to come, they're like, okay, well, I want to delegate this out, and this, I need a social, and I'm like, no, you need to do it first.
Yes, you do.
You need to know how to, and you and I talk about this.
Yes.
You want to know how to get good at copywriting, you gotta do the writing.
Yep.
You want to be good at hiring, then we'll get you some test subject, like we'll go through the applications, and maybe you wouldn't really hire them, but we're gonna invite them in for an interview so you can practice.
Yeah.
Because it's important. We just have to go through the motions, and we have to see what it feels like, so we get the confidence. That's all it is. It's getting the confidence with the structure, the accountability, and knowing that, I don't know, like the way I do it is I feel like I position myself on your team, where I'm not separate. I really feel like I'm on
I
your
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And that, that is some of my favorite. That's some of my favorite. So, and that's why we have so much in our inner circle membership. And that's why we moved from all of those master classes, like 70, that a lot of them are evergreen. Some we could probably weed out, and we are. But now we're doing the weekly coaching because people need more of that guidance.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I did this class, but let's talk about this class.
Right.
Let's talk about it again.
Right.
And how do I do this? Because I'll give you the how to, but then sometimes we aren't natural marketers, but we need to learn to be.
We do.
And so we got to be able to switch out the hats until we're able to afford to bring certain people on our team, whether it's social media, CPA, front desk, whatever it is. And we got to do it first, because we got to be really clear on our messaging.
Wow. Now, I have spoken a lot about your inner circle and a lot of the successful estheticians that are doing really big things, that have their head down. And, everyone, when I put that reel up on Instagram, people were like, oh, can I join Maxine's group? No, you can't just join a group. This isn't a group thing. Like, there's action. You got to do some action before you get there. But you have a lot of folks in your circle doing really big things, buying buildings and multiple hydrofacials and all of those things that we don't see.
Yeah. Because we're taught, and this is, and I don't mind giving this little tidbit, but we're focusing on a lot of little stuff. Even my niece, who's like, oh my God, I want to do it all. I'm like, oh, no. Like I said, learn it all in school, but we can't do it all. There is going to be, in my new accelerator program, the next class is like, we're going to be doing like a service menu audit. Because we can't be everything to everyone. Don't be afraid to step into your niche and own your expertise and be that go-to person for whatever, hydrofacial, microcurrent, waxing. Oh my God, there's so much money in waxing.
Right.
And that's how I started. I made it through 2 recessions. Brazilian wax. Absolutely.
Waxing. Hell, that's what we do. Mm-hmm. No, and I think that's the thing that I love about your inner circle, the way you've gathered estheticians together, that they've been able to keep their head down. You guys aren't in their drama. There's no drama in there. Ain't nobody talking about who said what. We're not talking about what they saw here or what's happening on TikTok. Those women in there are so focused. and you are constantly refocusing them. And I think that level of accountability is something that people want, but they're so afraid because they don't know how, right? It can be intimidating to actually say, I need an esthetician coach, right? And I think your way of connecting takes away that intimidation because you do have such a very simple way of getting people in and saying, you have to realize that at this point, you need help.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, Stephanie, it's a mindset. So if you can just reframe your mindset to get the help, like let's just say you're stuck at a certain revenue per month, right? And so right now we're moving people from 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50, 60,000 a month. And how are we doing that? We're thinking bigger. We're open to ideas. We're open to the coaching. And we do pride ourselves on the content, but I think coming in and getting to know us, because now we have 3 coaches, and each one specializes in certain things, and you can sign up for all of it in the membership. You could sign up for weekly coaching every week, and that's just included on top of all the material, because we want to make sure that you have the guidance, and we want to create that safe space for us to get on Zoom, see everyone's face, and just feel like we're sitting around the kitchen table talking, but it's productive.
Yeah.
It's productive. And and so yeah, we've created something pretty special. And I think interviewing a few different coaches and seeing who you resonate with and where
Yeah.
your values align with
Yeah.
is really important. And I think it's really important to partner with a coach who's been where you want to go.
Oh, I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
I have had a spa. I had a team of 19 employees, not 1099s. I just want to be clear. There were employees. And, I had hair stations. I had 3 treatment rooms that all double shifted, and I think that's important. And I started off solo. A little teeny salon with no running. Well, I had running water, but I had, those 5-gallon jugs. I had to go empty into the toilet at that. I mean, seriously, like I started off after the department store and moved around, and, as a solo. And so, and then I always had the vision of owning my own spa. So, that, and I have some mistakes that I made there that's why people are buying buildings.
Right.
I did $100,000 build out in a friggin' rental. I totally in a lease. I know, like it was, but you know what? These mistakes or failure,
Learning
whatever
lessons.
they are. So that right there, I'm like, I'm like, you wouldn't renovate an apartment. Why did I do that then? Because I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
I was doing my best with what I knew. And I got a coach after that, but it was already after the build out.
Oh, and I think that's the thing that we don't talk about. When you
Yeah.
even have successful businesses that are in the 7 and 8 figures, they don't say anything in our industry about coaching. They don't say that they were guided to that.
Yeah.
We love to accolade and say, I got to this figure. No, there was help there, you know?
And it didn't happen overnight.
No,
And
God,
so
no.
you might not see all the in between. And I
And we
think
don't, I think for you, especially, and I've been in your group, you have so many ladies that are in different places in the business, but they don't mind sharing
mm-mm,
mistakes and they don't mind sharing when they're proud of something from
mm-mm,
where they came to how they got there. That's the
mm-mm,
one thing I love about your inner circle is that they're
mm-mm.
so open. Like even me, when I was in there, I was like, dang, she bought a building, like a whole.
Yeah,
Look,
we've
I'm over here. Like
been,
I tell my husband, like Rudy, she bought
yeah.
a building. And then when the other one that bought 2 lasers and 2 hydrofacial. I'm like, she bought them.
Mm-hmm.
And Rudy's like, is that a big deal? That's a huge deal. That's a big deal to have that. Own it. It's yours. There's no lease payments. That's a big deal. And I think that if we could cultivate that and get more estheticians to understand not everyone is suffering, not everyone was affected by the pandemic, and not everybody's going to be affected by the recession, it would change the way our industry is, because we don't have enough spaces the way you've cultivated that inner circle. I love it. I think it's such a warm place. I think the women are really amazing. And if I 15 years ago would have had an inner circle, I definitely would have been in a different space.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
you say for even you?
Oh, for sure. And I remember when I invested in my coach and I was already in the thick. So I was that big person going, oh my God. And then that poor coach, who's a really good friend of mine today, was doing her best, but I was already like, I was, but, and in back then, that was a pretty steep investment per month. And I had to sign a year contract, which, I mean, she pulled me out of the weeds, um, pretty well, but, so I do love working with people small, but because I was that big one that then got help, I was like, oh man, and I saw a lot of the mistakes.
Yeah, well, 19 employees, that's a big
Mhm.
team.
And there's people that needed to go. And so that, and then I started to see the other true colors of other people that, needed to go, and then who the real dynamos were. And but it yeah, so having another set of eyes, a coach is like coming into your business and shining a spotlight into the dark corners of your business that you don't want to look at, and going, all right, see that right there. And but that's it. And I love doing that and exposing that, so we shed a little bit of light, so we can we know what to do, what we know what to do next, or what that owner is willing to do, if they're willing to. Because I've worked with people that, I worked with this one girl, I remember. So I was her third coach. And so we got a little bit into it, and I was like, oh, we're talking about an employee. And she goes, oh yeah, well, yeah, I've needed to fire her for 3 years and all the coaches said so. And I go, oh, well, that's the first thing we're going to do.
Oh, oh,
And we did it together. And I will tell you what, Stephanie, just knowing that she had, I don't know, the support
what
or
do you mean you did
whatever,
it together? What did that look like?
meaning that I was supporting her and coaching her how to do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just coaching her how to do it and making her feel like confident and knowing that she wasn't doing anything wrong, anything like that. But let me tell you what that did is it opened her whole business up after she let that person go, because that toxicity was affecting 2 other people there. And then she's since then expanded, and she's got just a thriving, beautiful location, and the energy just lifted. And she's like, wow. And I said, I wasn't going to say it, 3 years too long, but she saw it. She knew. And, so yeah, I mean, when you, I mean, it's just like no different than a service that's not serving us anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to, get rid of it and make room and energy for what you really have that passion to do and want to do. So there's similar formulas across the board in the business. They're very similar.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys know Maxine and I could talk forever. Look, we went over our little
Yeah.
30 minutes. We were supposed to only be for 30 minutes. We went to 40 minutes. Anyway, Maxine is going to be speaking. She will have a booth. She will have her team there. You guys can come and just really get down to the nitty gritty with her. And I'm excited for you to meet her in person, because you need to ask those questions so she can give you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that I think the level of accountability that you provide, just like you said now, I helped her fire somebody. Some people, we need that.
You do. You need to know that it's okay. And
Yes.
you need to know you're not doing anything wrong. And you
Yes.
need to know that you have to stand up for your business. And if it means letting somebody go to stand up for your business and to create a positive culture for everyone else, then it's
You
going to
got to
be
do it.
okay.
You got to do it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Maxine will be at her summit and she will be at my summit, and you guys will be able to ask her all those questions. And I can't wait for you to see her on stage. She's going to blow your mind just like she did mine. Thank
Oh,
you.
all right. See you soon. Bye.